Καλημέρα. Καλημέρα. Καλώς ήρθατε στα AGORA Talks. Είμαι η Νίκη Ξένου. So, I would like to ask, I switch in English, and I would like to ask if there are people in the audience who doesn't speak Greek. Yes, I see that there are, so we will do this talk in English. Although all our speakers today are Greek. I'm Niki Xenou. I'm project manager of the AGORA series program of the Thessaloniki Film Festival AGORA. This is our third talk today for series, and we will discuss on how the audiovisual ecosystem in Greece can embrace creativity. I warmly welcome our speakers and moderator. With us today is FTTP Content Manager from COSMOTE TV, Mr. Leonidas Christopoulos, President of EKOME, Fenia Cossovitsa, Producer, and Mr. Markos Holevas, who is the President of Greek Film Center, and our moderator today is Ms. Eleni Chandrinou. So I give the floor to our speakers and moderator. I hope you enjoy. We will have some time in the end of the panel to get the questions from the audience. Thank you.
Hi. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. We are going to discuss creativity and how the Greek audiovisual ecosystem can embrace it and how it can do that maybe better. So I will start with Fenia because the first stop of a creative person, of a person with the next big, brilliant idea for a fantastic series, the first thing that this person would have to do is to find a producer to work with, and a producer like Fenia, for example. So what would be the process? Fenia, please tell us.
Yes, okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Well, actually, yes. Producer is the first stop for a creator. So what I'm looking for, if you want, in terms of editorial line, I have a soft spot for crime, drama, political, thriller genre. So first thing to do is to discuss with the creator if her idea fits my editorial line. I'm not saying that I would never do a great comedy, but, you know, this is what I'm looking for. Then what we will do together is that we will prepare, practically speaking, a 1-2-pager for some soft pitch of the project around. And then the most important is that we're going to go look for development money. And here's the first problem of the Greek audiovisual sector. There's so little money for development for feature films, for example, and there is nothing for the development of TV series. Recently, the Greek Film Center, I suppose Markos will talk in details after, they announced a program for the development of TV series, which is so underfunded. I mean, 15,000, okay, still something, but, you know, that there is no other option in Greece to look for development money. So the process of the development of a series is long, very long. You need people, you need to create a writer's room, you need to travel around. We know the process because we do the same for the feature films, you know, in another scale, but financially is more demanding, you know, more people are involved in a way. So I will go, what else is out there? Only the media money, you know, for the development. It takes time, it's a difficult and long process. So what I will do, if really is a brilliant idea, I will invest money, which is not the way to do things, you know. And practically speaking, we need to have one Bible at the end and one pilot episode, which is the universal industry standard for a series to seek financing, production financing, I mean.
But then you could go I mean, then the main outlet of the series would be a TV or a streamer or a pay TV, for example?
No, listen, first
you,
of all, I would seek
you,
for a local partner.
So the local partner, would you find some development funding there?
It's more complicated than that. But I don't want, if you want to mix the conversation, because I will try to keep my IP. So, you know, there is this question of what is an independent producer in television, you know, but I don't know, we can go that.
I mean, the IP discussion, we had a very interesting panel yesterday about
yes.
the IP and the importance of the IP and how this stays with the producer or it is shared with the streamer, the broadcaster, in what percentage. And that is a different discussion. And we can get into it a bit later on. But in terms of funding the development, so the next step would be...
So the next step is that I would go, based on my editorial line, okay, I have an excellent relationship with COSMOTE TV, so I would go there and I would say, take a look, okay? And then she will say...
And then Faye, what would you look at, Faye?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Well, basically, I'm sure that everybody knows that we have a very nice bond with Fenia. We've done so much with her. We've already done like 3 seasons of like the first major crime series in Greece, Eteros Εγώ. We also had a very nice international partnership with Fenia for Tehran, which is exclusively on Apple TV+. We shot season 3 a couple of months ago. So whether it's like it's Fenia or another possible partner, because we work with everybody, since we are heavily investing in co-production in film, in fiction, obviously, but with specific strategic projects, as well as documentary. So we work with everybody. And what we do is Fenia, for example, or another producer comes with the idea. We actually evaluate like the Bible, the script. To us, it is very important. And I mean, to everybody, having like a good script is, the key to a successful project. So along with the Bible comes a pilot of like, let's say 1 episode, so as to understand the writing as well. And then we decide whether we proceed to a production or, a co-production for a project.
So the project has to be quite developed when it comes to you. Would you get involved at an
Yes.
earlier stage
Yes.
based on an idea, or the production company, or the author, the creator?
Yeah. Well, you know what? When we are discussing a co-production, you cannot really intervene so much. So you kind of accept the project and the whole team involved. But when it comes to production, then we are, heavily into the project. We certainly have an opinion, and we do that in every of our projects. Some of them were like super successful. Some of them, for example, in fiction, were not. But that's how it goes. And since we are like a pay TV operator and a streaming service, our core business is not like entertainment in terms of fiction or film or documentary. Our main focus is obviously sports content, since this is like the driver, but we're very lucky that we do have like a budget allocated for this type of project. So we kind of support the whole audiovisual system ourselves.
Do you have a specific preference on content?
In terms of genre?
Yes, in terms of genre. That is one question. And the next one, and then I will move on, is what is your policy in terms of IP?
Well, first of all, we kind of, in terms of fiction or film, for example, because documentary is very straightforward, we kind of, lean to that genre that Fenia described, because we do think that if we are doing like specific and not numerous projects, it is better to focus on what our own audience wants. And since we do know very well in terms of viewership what our own audience wants, our own audience wants mainly, since they are like male audiences, they tend to prefer like crime or like thriller or like this kind of content. So that would be like the preferable genre. Well, as far as the IP is concerned, you know, to be honest, when we're discussing own production, it belongs to us. But we are, you know, very open to partnerships, and we are very open to co-production as well. And we kind of, you know, we can approve that since, for example, for that project that we've worked with Fenia for Tehran for Apple TV+, we don't even broadcast the content. So basically, we invested, we believed in that project. The project was completely shot in Greece. So we kind of, you know, supported the local production as well. But we do not really even broadcast the project. So we're quite open to partnerships.
So you would do that for a Greek project as well, I suppose?
Yeah, if
you would co-produce and you would leave the rights with the
Well, it depends. If this project can travel abroad, we can do that. If this project is like locally oriented, it doesn't really make sense.
So for international projects, you would be happy to...
we can discuss that. I mean, since we are doing co-production as well, because we've done like tons of co-production, especially in film and in documentary, we are doing that. So it's,
that is very good to know. You are not, however, you are not interfering, you're not investing in development, as far as I understand, normally?
Well, we did that in the past. How
did that go for you?
Well, we kind of did that to support, you know, creativity and creators. It wasn't like a decision that this development process definitely has to end up to, let's say, a conclusion and a result. So we did that to support the development process. So we've done that in the past. To be honest, there's no so much available budget to do all those things together. You know, investing in very expensive sports content, investing in, you know, acquired content from Hollywood studios, then invest in local content, and have like an allocated budget for development. We'll try, you know, to be open to that discussion, but you never know. It's hard.
You don't do it, but you might do it at some point.
Yes, we've done that in the past.
And you might do it again in the future under certain conditions and for certain projects, I would guess.
It also depends on the project. I mean, if the idea is, you know, the right one, then we can discuss a development. I mean, we've done that with Fenia in the past already. So we do not do it like in, let's say, every year. But if the project is interesting, then we can discuss that for sure.
Very clear, thank you. So the only way to get any funding for development, the only way right now, it seems, and like since yesterday, because it was not the case last year, for example, correct, is to come to the Greek Film Center and request support for development. So up to you, Markos.
Yes. Will take time to explain what happened in the Greek Film Center, because it's known for everyone in this audience that a film center is the public institution to support the ideas, the development, and to be the first to invest in the idea, to give the opportunity to the creative group, producer, director, writer, to open the possibility and open to them the possibility to found co-producers, to found European money, etc. So we see that in the past years, 3-4 years, the meaning film is more open now. we talk about series, but it's not that we have in our back mind the old TV series that we talk about today. That means the TV series was the system of shows that they shoot in a studio that we accept. We see a house, we accept, we see an office, an hospital, etc. Now the series is in the quality of the motion picture industry, the sets, the atmosphere, the photography, etc. Is like you see in a film, a motion picture. The only that's changed is that the streaming permit to the audience to have a long duration picture movie in episodes, and they can see 6 hours continually that you cannot see in the theatrical release. So, for these reasons, the Greek Film Center tried to found money to invest in the development of series, as many years before he invested in the developing of films, motion pictures, because we can support from the writing, the developing, and finally in the production state, Greek or production or co-production. So using the RRF, we make a program. Yes, I agree with Fenia. All the money that the Greek Film Center give is pocket money for the value that finally we must to attend with the Greek production is pocket money, but it's the beginning. So if the pressure of the industry, the Greek industry was more strong, maybe we have more money because we work for you.
I'm sorry, but for many years we're shouting about the development of feature films as well.
No, generally. So finally,
so tell us about the development
we
for
established
series.
This program. The first season was until 20 October to depose the dossier, and we have 13 applies for supporting series. Is a program that is for series until 8 to maximum 10 episodes. Okay, can be 6. The policy is to attend that I explained before. That means the notion of a feature film with big duration, not content exactly, but a project.
Yes. So you had 13 applications, which I think it's. What is the budget for the year? Do you remember?
It's about 600.
For one, okay. So.
But we have 2 periods.
And when are the results going to be out for the?
4 months later.
Fantastic. I think that a lot of people here will be waiting to see what happens with that.
Normally, with this budget, we have about 4 projects every period.
So 4 projects out of the 13 will be selected.
It's a low.
It's hard.
It's a low statistical number, but okay, it's the beginning.
Yes, it is the beginning. It is happening. There is something, and as the French say, there is no small profit. So let's keep it positive. Even though there is no selective funding, and or very little selective funding, the Greek audiovisual ecosystem has another very strong and important player who makes a very big difference on how things work. And this is EKOME. It has been the case for a few years now. So would you like to tell us a little bit about how you embrace creativity?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me here this year with my new role as the president of EKOME, because last year I was the political supervisor of EKOME as Secretary General and the Minister of Digital Governance. But I believe that EKOME is this entity that has really boosted the market, the audiovisual ecosystem, in order to generate more creative ideas. Because if you want to generate more creative ideas, if you want people to start working with their minds and creating new ideas on the audiovisual market, you need to show that you have a very dynamic ecosystem that is working properly, that is being funded properly, and that has this momentum. EKOME, for the past 4 years, since 2018, 2019 until today, has dispersed a total amount of 100 million euros to the audiovisual market in Greece. The payable projects, about almost
the cash rebate, right?
Cash rebate, with the cash rebate. The cash rebate has dispersed almost 100 million euros, 55 out of which were in 2023. So we are talking about supporting the audiovisual ecosystem with a considerable amount of money, and thus creating this creativity circle that can generate more ideas.
Was it foreign productions mostly or local
Mostly
productions?
foreign productions, mostly foreign productions. Almost 2/3 were foreign productions, and a lot of domestic ones as well. So what EKOME actually does in its mission is that it operates the cash rebate scheme, the cash rebate funding scheme, which is a big funding tool for the audiovisual sector, supporting big projects, supporting very dynamic projects that either want to come to Greece or that are domestic in nature. But it also has another part of its mission, which is not very known, actually two. It has the depository, the audiovisual depository that we want to operate more dynamically in the next years. And it has education and training, which in my understanding is very critical for the audiovisual market if we want the market to boost. Thus, what we would like to do is design big training modules for the audiovisual sector, depending on what the market needs and what the industry needs, thus being able to support the audiovisual ecosystem. Apart from giving out money from the cash rebate, which is project-based, okay, we need also to start creating the necessary infrastructure and having training sessions and creating new people that will be working in the audiovisual market is one very, very serious mission, and we want to give more focus on that, if you want.
You are talking about technical training, I suppose, or
whatever
not
the
only?
market, whatever the industry, whatever the people in the creating the audiovisual sector feel that is necessary for the audiovisual market to boost even more.
So you are consulting with the industry on the right training.
Always.
Okay.
Always.
That is,
for the cash rebate, for the training and education, even for the depository. We are always discussing, talking about the problems, and I think everybody knows in this room that there have been a lot of problems. But we're discussing with everybody so to find the optimum solutions to make it even better. Because if we want to be serious about what we want to do, there are two words that I always say for the cash rebate and for everything else that we're doing. Sustainability, it needs to be sustainable. The country needs to have a sustainable financial tool. Absolutely. Okay, because we've seen what has happened in other countries, so we need a sustainable financial tool and predictability. We need a financial tool and we need policies that the people in the audiovisual sector and the state as well will know what is happening in terms of procedures. Stability
is a very basic demand from all the audiovisual sector. I mean, it is always better to operate, as you say, in a stable, predictable environment where you know how much money is going to be spent and where exactly it is going to be spent. And this allows the production companies as well to plan their work, and then that creates an environment that is friendly to the creator. Okay.
Just to mention something, it's not just for the market and for the people in the audiovisual sector, it's also for the state to be able to know what budget is needed annually and what budget it needs in order to repay the projects and the funds. So predictability works both ways.
Okay, so
because otherwise we have delays, otherwise we have problems.
Oh, you're talking about the budget for the cash rebate now?
I'm talking about everything, and definitely about the budget of the cash rebate as well.
Great. So, I mean, yes, it is very important that, as I said, that the environment is stable for everybody to operate on it. And then now I would like to discuss a little bit what is happening internationally, because Greece, the Greek audiovisual ecosystem is one thing, but it operates in a European and international context where a lot of things are happening right now and a lot of things are changing. To talk about the relations of the streamers among them, let's say. I mean, streaming war, some people call it. Fierce competition, if we want to be more modest. So then there is this thing happening internationally. So my question is, one, do you see this happening in Greece as well? And one thing, and then the second question is, how do you think that this impacts the creative talent, the creation, the creativity, the creator?
Faye, you want to go first? Okay.
Fenia.
Well, what is happening? Things are changing. You know, the bubble of 2020 till 2022 and 3 maybe, of I don't know how many thousand of series, expensive ones, competition between the streamers, you know, comes to an end. And this is obvious to everyone. First of all, there is budget cuts. Second, the streamers with base in Europe are cancelling shows all the time. Paramount and Disney, they're doing it discreetly. The phenomenon of Sky Deutschland, that they cancel the shows that went into production, like Babylon Berlin, for example, that everybody knows, in 1 month. They did it not very discreetly, but this is changing, and this started, you know, like, in my opinion, a year ago, you know. So this is why co-production, synergy is the only answer. This is why there is the alliance of New 8 public European broadcaster.
This is why, let me interrupt you just for a second, this is why Eurimages also is creating the series pilot, in which I have to say Greece is participating.
Yes.
The Ministry of Culture is committed to that. So yes, please go on.
Yeah. So co-production and co-production even with the streamers is the answer. They're open now, you know. They're discussing the licensing and the windows and everything. There is this huge hit, I think it's called Soon Comes the Night, you know, from Africa. Netflix has Africa rights, but Red Arrow, the producer and distributor, they have all the rest of the territories and they can sell separately. So this is what happens in Europe. In Greece, we still believe, you know, we're going to knock the door of Netflix, Apple, and go with the idea, and then bum. And we cannot, I mean, it's impossible for me not to see, and I'm talking about the channels and pay TV locally, that only a synergy is the answer. I mean, for many years now, we're fighting to have a public broadcaster and a streamer, and a pay TV and streamer like COSMOTE for the feature films, okay? So imagine for the series, it's impossible. We're really behind.
There is that, and there is also the question of the rights. Because I mean,
I said that before. Yeah,
this also is a problem.
This is something that maybe Markos and Leonidas, I don't know, put in the table, and we need to find a solution, because it's.
But this is a broadcaster's issue. It's not.
Yeah, but
yeah. Anyway, I'm
it's
sorry.
Political.
Just you wanted to say something, Markos? Okay. Sorry, Faye.
Yes. For me, the most important is to actually, with the situation that described Fenia, is the window to invest in the creativity and not in the production. We need to invest in the development of ideas that we build strong as a myth, as a production value, as a project, not a content, something different that they can found the big streamers, etc., in the market. Cash rebate and all the system that we have in our ecosystem as the system of financing through the Greek Film Center is if you can develop the idea and you can propose the idea to be co-product. The basis is to invest in the beginning, because the independent producers, they don't have the money to invest in a product that finally cannot be selected to be in the production. The public institutions have this role to invest in 5, to have 1 finally that we build a success. It's like the studios make in United States. They invest in to develop 30, 40 scripts to have finally 10 very strong. So this we must understand as an ecosystem and as representative of a public system that we are, Leonidas and me, that actually the big moment to invest in the development with money that we invest. Maybe we lose, but it's an investment. Because if we have the good idea, we can found, and the Greek producers prove it, money from foreign countries and foreign systems like Eurimages, etc., to make the production exist. The first stage is the very strong point of our industry.
I think that everybody would agree in this room, and nobody would object to more money for the development of series. Let's go back to the.
I would also like to say that, in my opinion, funding development also would save the audiovisual environment in general. And what I mean by that is, in order for this environment, as Leonidas said, to be sustainable, and not have this super booming of numerous production for such a small market, because that's how it goes in Greece. We have we're 10 million people, half of them they are aged people. They do not even watch streaming services or other media. So we address to a very small amount of people, offering them numerous choices. It is quite, logic that half of those choices are not of value. So if we kind of, let's say, develop the projects and give them time and space to be developed in a safe way, then the projects that would be in production would be of value. We are not going to end up, having thousands of applications to EKOME, for example, for projects that would nobody watch. So the whole system, in my opinion, has to, and will be again retransformed. Because times, call for that action. So,
yes, investing in development definitely has the outcome of higher quality content.
Yes.
This is pretty clear in cinema, and this is pretty obvious for series
for
as well.
For fiction as well, yes.
But do you think, yesterday it was also said during the panel that nowadays international streamers are more open to considering Greek content. Would you have any?
No.
You don't think? You don't? Oh, no, please. That's why I was. It was a very nice surprise to hear that yesterday. It was said that until 2 years ago they would not even think about looking at the Greek content, but today, because of the success of some series internationally, they are more open.
You know what? It is one thing acquiring ready-made content, and another thing investing and producing or co-producing. So for the streamers and all the big players, it is very easy and very cheap in their terms to buy ready-made content. The hard thing to do is to get them here investing in local production. That hasn't happened up until now.
It will have to happen sooner or later with
will.
the directive, because
it will, because the
ADMS
cash rebate is here, the production offices are here, everybody's here. The thing is, we have to find, maybe we have to find also, extra ways to attract them. For some reason, they are not yet so convinced. They are kind of convinced in terms of service, in terms of production service, because the Hollywood studios do come over and shoot projects, and they tend to, get involved with the cash rebate thing. But for fiction project, this hasn't happened in a way that, can leave money in the local industry.
If I may add to that, for me, it is a bit like the chicken and the egg situation, and that is a question I'm posing in terms of creativity and development of ideas and things like that. Does development and new ideas boost and create a market, or does a strong market create new ideas that are feeding the improvement of the audiovisual sector? Because I believe that right now we are at this critical point where, because the market has opened for so many years due to the cash rebate to the film centers programs and everything, we have created a dynamic market, and we are at this critical point that international platforms or international investors or whoever wants to see whether this boom that has happened for the past years is sustainable for the next years. And we're at this point, whatever you discuss about technology, IP, financial tools, we're at this point where we need to see how do we go ahead with the audiovisual sector. Do we have a new governance structure? Do we have new financial tools more adjusted? Do we have sustainable tools? Do we have a more predictable environment that we can finance and support investment? Because everybody has seen that there has been a big boom for the last years, and now they want to see that this boom is sustainable for the next ones.
This is a very good question, and I will give the floor to Fenia.
Yeah,
but
well,
before that, let me please comment that, we are not going to invent the wheel necessarily. Internationally speaking, the international experience in the other European countries, it shows clearly with data that stable and serious public funding investment in development and in production, but I repeat, serious and stable, gives output creative works that have a great audience and great careers internationally. So I'm not sure if it is a chicken and egg situation. Obviously, a good market, a stable market, a dynamic market is great, and everybody wants it, and it is necessary for ideas to flourish. But these ideas will not flourish thanks to the market, just thanks to the market. You need to water the ground, you see what I mean, for the seeds to grow, if I may. Sorry, go on.
So I won't repeat, I agree 100% with Eleni, so I won't repeat anything. Since we are talking creativity, being a filmmaker, in general, writer, director, producer, is not sustainable in Greece. Simple as that, you know. The market is not strong because I'm doing both. I'm producing and doing service producing. I would love to produce more and less service producing. It's not sustainable because otherwise I cannot develop my own things on the right. It's not the right way. There's no money in cinema, there's no money in serious content or series, whatever Markos said. So it's not sustainable at all.
Yes, as Eleni described before, we have the experience in the European system, for example, Spain's or Danish model, that they invest for a period in their ideas, in their genres that they like, and finally they found their place in the international market, and not the obvious opposite, that because the market is big, we try to have a point in this system. No, I believe the European experience gives us the way that we must invest as a local, a national idea and audiovisual system, and propose these ideas, these projects in an international market.
While at the same time, obviously, a healthy market and services and foreign productions are more than welcome, and they have some benefits to the local industry.
This is the way to make things running, but you know, it's a handicap to have money only for production and service. I mean, for cash rebate, a healthy cash rebate and not a healthy public selective funding. That's all.
For example, in the Spanish model, we see what happened with the big studios and the big investment, that they are a little collapse, I can tell. But the all other system of production, which is based in the local ideas, in the local, I will accept the content, okay, as a meaning of the actual characteristics of the audiovisual project. So the local system is the resistance against the cycles that the audiovisual sector make through the foreigners, big studios that they come in some countries, they shoot films, series, etc. And after a time, they go in another country with big and better cash rebate or better studio, etc. And the system collapses. Okay, and for me, in value of civilization, is very important and very need to have a strong audiovisual and cinema sector, because the most easy to travel your modern civilization internationally is the audiovisual. You don't need to bring an orchestra in a place to listen the music. You not to transfer a theatrical play to see what happened in this country in the modern civilization until about theater, but the film can be at the same time through a cloud in every corner of this planet.
It's the cultural product. I would just like to go a little bit back before we open the floor to questions from the audience, to this question that whether now this competitive environment, the competitive environment that we are living in, whether it is to the benefit of the creativity creators, the creative environment. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it to the benefit of the creator or is it not at the end of the day? Opinions?
I have the tendency to say yes, it is for the benefit. I mean,
does it boost creativity or does it not?
The current landscape out there, it's chaos, okay, but chaos creates opportunity as well, you know. But I'm not sure. I have the tendency to say yes.
I am also optimistic. I don't want to ruin the atmosphere. Obviously, things are very competitive. Everybody knows that, and competition is always a good thing because it wakes you up. But in terms of creativity, I do have to say that, in my personal opinion, sometimes this super hot competition kind of derives time for the creators, to develop their ideas. So all this pressure, or this, this competitiveness in terms of production, of broadcasting, of writing, may, I'm not like a creator myself, but I'm guessing that it may causes pressure to creators since they have to deliver more in less time. And the best way is to have a very good result in terms of, content or production is to get time. And ourselves in COSMOTE TV, at least, we are trying to always give the creators time to, develop and produce the content.
And
time is always
time and sources.
Yes. Time and money.
Yes,
yes, development. Yes. It's, I mean,
yes.
It's almost,
Yes, it's a one-way street. It seems the conclusion of so far. I would like to open the floor for questions, unless any of you has any closing remarks. For me, the conclusion so far is that we need a healthy combination between a market that is active, dynamic, and thriving, but on the other hand, a stable environment for the development of creative works and sustainable independent production
I
companies.
have a very romantic and stupid idea, but
Go
I'm
for
gonna
it,
say.
Be romantic and stupid.
Okay. I said before the example of New 8, for example, 8 European broadcasters, okay? They will produce 8 drama series per year, all right? Okay, this cannot happen in a smaller scale, all right? Let's put the Greek broadcasters, create a common development fund, okay? Selective, you know, selective. So I go there, he goes there. The best project wins, or the best 3 projects wins, some development money. And then when I finish the development, I'm gonna go present my idea to these people, all right? And whoever wants takes it. Or, I mean, you see what I mean? Okay.
Are you thinking?
That's why I said romantic, stupid idea.
But let's elaborate. Are you thinking public or private
both,
public?
both, I would say.
We don't have anyone here to present the idea to, but I think that is something
Yeah,
that
no,
we can
no,
work.
I need to go and pitch it.
We can work on, or if anybody here has any ideas or knows people, you know, you can call them up and pitch the idea. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Maybe we can open the floor to questions from the public now.
Hi. Hi. So that's very interesting and very exciting what you're saying. All this time I'm hearing, I'm very interested in what you're saying. So I want to speak as a creator and as a writer now, because we are like, I'm hearing since yesterday how it's not sustainable for a producer to keep developing ideas, and for a writer and creator it's nearly impossible. So I have a case study for you. I am a creator who developed a miniseries since 2020 and has been presented in most of the most big festivals in Europe, and it was awarded in most of them. So everyone keeps coming to me, foreign producers, and telling me, I cannot fully finance your project. I can co-finance it, I can fight the gap financing, and I need like a Greek broadcaster or streamer to also finance the project so that I can do the gap financing. Or you should Germanize the project. If it's a German producer, they tell me that. You should put like German characters, German elements, and then we see if we develop it in Germany, but we want to develop it in Greece. So we, since 2020, we haven't found, with my producer, no Greek streamer or broadcaster interested to invest on a multi-awarded, I can repeat, project. Greek broadcasters keep telling us that there's no space for miniseries because we want long-running series, and this is the way we invest in content because it's like more appealing to the audiences. We need everyday long-running series, which is most of the times low-quality content, and I know it because I have worked in a lot of them, to gain some money because we have to live. We have to pay our bills. So they keep investing in long-running series. They're the public broadcaster. I don't know how the procedure goes. It's long. It's long and, to my opinion, a bit shady. But this is my opinion, and it's disheartening. It's frustrating, and it's really not sustainable. What would you advise a creator and a writer to do in order to have the courage and keep developing ideas and content, hoping to bring some money in their country for Greek and international productions, if you are not some famous one, I don't know, writer, creator, or director? What should anyone do to keep trying, keep creating, because it's about creativity. This panel is about creativity, and it's not easy to keep being creative in this environment. That's all. My name is Georgia Foto.
I'm sorry. I mean,
Yes.
it's not at all optimistic what I'm going to say, and it might sound, you know, change country, you know. No, I thought the same for myself, you know. So, yes, I have done that partly. Yes,
well, I would try to be more optimistic. Obviously, I can, you know, speak for myself and the company that I work for. Since, as I said, we're like a pay TV operator and a streaming service. We are not like a traditional streaming service carrying like fiction projects only. But in my opinion, since things are changing, are evolving, I'm guessing that everybody would be more open to partnerships and co-production. And if a project is developed correctly, especially if it is also awarded, it can find its way. Everybody, again, ourselves, I'm guessing at some point, maybe the free-to-air channels as well would be more open to partnerships. We need more time because, like, the Greek audiovisual and the Greek media environment is extremely saturated, and there's no so much, you know, there's the idea of working together and partnership is kind of unfamiliar to us. So at some point of time, everybody would be more open to that as well. So I would like to be optimistic that, you know, these opportunities, you know, can...
Or maybe you can have a meeting with her later.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, for sure.
But thank you. Sorry, can I?
But in our opinion, partnerships and co-production in terms of, you know, fiction projects especially, or films, is a one-way answer. So there's no other way.
Thank you very much for this question. And this is something that this is a very important question for the institutions, whether it is EKOME, where it is for the public institution, the Greek Film Center, because let's not forget that the audiovisual works are also a cultural product, if I may use the word, and it is important for the country to continue developing it and to keeping it and to not forcing somebody who has, I mean, everybody thinks has talent, at least outside of Greece, to leave them no choice but to have to go and live and work and create somewhere else. So this is maybe something that the policy makers could think on. I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to share now, but I would suggest that it's something for a discussion.
I think the change is constantly in front of us. For example, 1 year before, the national broadcaster ERT, they don't thought to make a series, mini-series, only for Earthflix. And now, 1 year after, they are in Thessaloniki and present in premiere the 2 first episodes of this series. So that means, make me optimist that, okay, all the situation change. The public sectors, they have in thoughts and in mind that this new environment must be supported. I talk for the Greek Film Center, and I thought generally we have discussion to do something that we give an environment in 2 scales. Of course, the foreign production is an upscale value for the tourism, for the local industry, but in the same time, I think now we understand the value of the culture that we can product in this country and the value of the film and the visual sector in a presentation of Greece for the modern civilization, and not only for the antiquities that we found in this territory that we live actually out.
Well, I don't know how at least the command, the cash rebate scheme could solve such a problem. It can't solve such a problem, but what I would think in terms of policy making, let's say, would be to start creating new incentive schemes in order to be able to bring multi-awarded projects that cannot find funding in domestic streaming platforms or whatever, to bring them together. So what the state can generally do in any market is to be able to create incentives through law, through regulations, to be able at least to bring together two worlds and start speaking when it comes to very serious projects that have some criteria, some qualitative, quantitative criteria, I don't know, bring them together and see whether you can create incentives like the cash rebate, like the film center's incentives, but adjusted to these types of problems of trying to find, you know, common grounds. Because from what I understand, there is no such thing right now. There's no such incentive scheme.
Here, the incentive or funding, here it's a different question, and it is completely out of the scope of this panel, and it has to do with broadcasters and streamers in Greece. So this is a completely, however, as we have two policy
that's what I'm saying.
So it would be maybe interesting, if I may, to have a discussion with them as well, maybe.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. In general, the state can intervene in a market in certain ways. One of the best ways to intervene and to create is to create incentives in order to achieve a goal. And that is what we should probably see as policymakers.
Yeah, I have a question that has to do with the hidden actor of the market, since we are talking about audiovisual ecosystem, which is the piracy. Because I think that I've heard that it's a real, it has an impact on the broadcasters and on their incomes and the way they monetize the clients and the programs. So I would like to hear more about that, and maybe how we could have an, I don't know, policymakers.
That is certainly a very hot topic, and I mean, for us as a pay TV operator, is like maybe like the #1 priority, because obviously piracy affects our income, affects the state income as well, but it also affects creativity in a way. So piracy is huge in Greece, huge. I mean, what we are discussing is around 1 million people using all those boxes. We are doing our best in terms of, you know, our own means of anti-piracy, technology-wise, to battle this enemy. And obviously, we ask the state's support, and we do hope at this point of time that we will be together in that war, I would say. I would call it a war. And yeah, I mean, it's like very straightforward. Piracy affects the business, but it also affects heavily the creators and the creativity in general. Even more in such a very, very small market as Greece. So it's a dead end if we cannot find a way to battle piracy accordingly.
Okay, so we are looking for ideas to battle piracy now?
We do have ideas. We are.
There already has been a modernization of the legislation. I think it was 1 year ago, something like that, which was a very, you know, dynamic intervention in the area, and we are still discussing, and there is still some work to be done in a legislative, but also in a technological level, because we're talking about technical solutions here, with the dynamic blocking, with everything. We're talking about technical solutions that we need to mature, and we are maturing them together with the market. And I think that it is going to be a constant battle because technology changes all the time, and you can see it all around. The technology has benefits, but has also threats. You can see what's going on in the US based on technological issues. So we're going to be discussing about these issues for many years, and they're going to evolve all the time. Even if we intervene, even if we legislate, we're going to be facing something new all the time.
Yes.
So it's a constant battle.
It's a constant battle.
For me, the first problem is that it's a social problem, because the mentality of most of the people in Greece is that I stole nothing when I download or I'm streaming property, cultural property of someone's. I stole a car, I stole a house, but I don't stole ideas. So if we don't change the mentality, we cannot have a number of piracy that is accepted internationally in Greece as in other countries. Okay. Secondly, the problem is economic, because we see, for example, in the sector of the music, when the price is low, the people prefer to have a Spotify or like something like this to try to find the music they want with piracy ways. If the price is low, that is one of the points of the success of Netflix in the beginning, that the price was low, and so you decide to try it and to pay it. Okay, but I think the most important to invest in these two sectors, and of course in all this system of anti-piracy that the technology give you, or the law in a country give you. But we know in Greece many times the law is the law and nothing else.
It is a problem of, yes, culture and education as well, and extremely complex. We are now 3 minutes past our time. Should we take one last question, if there is one?
Hi, I'm Alexander. I'm coming from Croatia, a producer and showrunner for some series in development. So my question is regarding the international co-production. For example, in all these panels, in festivals, we always hear the word co-production. But when we start a conversation with a streamer or a foreign TV company, we always came to the question how we can co-produce. Always there is the most difficult first step that needs to be solved. So my question is, for example, I have a TV series that is, for example, Croatian. And I'm coming here and I'm presenting it to the Greek streamers, local streamers, or Spanish streamers, etc. How is the way of co-production? Are the local streamers more interested in just investing, for example, 10% of the budget, and they are getting the exclusive rights for the Greece or the territory where they are available? Or, for example, they want to co-produce with people in the project, for example, composers, editors. Do they have the capacity to organize and coordinate that structure if they are coming in the project with people? Or we need a new European legislative, for example, that will be all the streamers in Europe, they need to do 10% co-production with the foraging country, and they give exclusively the rights for the territory. I mean, that's one of the fight with Netflix, HBO, and everything that's need to be done. Thank you.
Hi, Alex. Well, this is not, in my opinion, the way to do things. First of all, you need to find a Greek co-producer. I mean, it's not, I mean, procedure-wise, you need to find a co-producer who likes your project and knows that, for example, she go to Faye or to another streamer or to a linear broadcaster, present the idea and see the potential of the co-production. So there is no answer unless, Faye, you have another.
No, I definitely agree. And, you know, at the end of the day, we have to bear in mind that we are not like giants like HBO or like Netflix or like Paramount Plus. So the resources are specific. And to be honest, since there is also the Greek language barrier in terms of, local broadcasting is concerned, we have to keep that in mind. So in order for, let's say, a broadcaster or a pay TV operator to invest in a project that is not addressed to a Greek audience and is not in Greek language, it has to be very, very unique. And as I said, we did that, and we've done that with numerous documentaries. We've done numerous co-production with Arte, for example. The language is not Greek; it's like French, like English, or like other foreign languages. So, but in terms of fiction, language is a barrier. So unless the project has a very unique USP in terms of income or in terms of, let's say, creativity or idea, this cannot be the case in such a small market as Greece. We do not have the resources and the budget, to address numerous projects.
Anybody has a question? Because I have a question. Sorry, you want to answer?
Yes, of course. That Fenia mentioned is the only way to contact the public institution in Greece or the broadcaster, etc., because all the system is based to support the local producer who knows the possibility, the potentiality of the market, and the public money will be addressed to a co-production through the Greek co-producer.
Okay. I have a question for you. You said...
I'm guessing.
Are you? No, but you said earlier on that we are now at a turning point, and then we need to think what is the way forward, and then maybe you can develop this thought a little bit, because you started saying things that were interesting but were a bit out of context at that point, out of subject, so out of topic. So, I mean, because it is true, we are at a turning point, and then we need to see what is the way forward, as you were saying.
No, I disagree with you. It was not out of context and out of topic, because we were discussing about how the market can function, how creativity can come out. Yeah, I was just saying that we have created. There has been a boom in the market for the last years due to the incentives and to the financial tools, and we are at this point where we need to showcase to the international markets, to everybody, that what we've done for the past years is sustainable, and we can sustain its momentum and its dynamic. And in my opinion, we are at this turning point where we have discussed a lot of issues. We have discussed the piracy issue. We have discussed the co-production issues. We have discussed the development issues. We have discussed a lot of things that are coming in the discussion in general. And we need to see how we can create the best list. How can we be administratively creative in an administrative way? Okay, because right now we need to see whether we need a new governance structure, a new law that will be more predictable, as we said, more sustainable in terms of the financial tools, in terms of we need to reassess everything if we want to have this stable environment that we want in the audiovisual. For example, I'll give you an example. The cash rebate. Does it need to be amended? Does it need to be improved? Does it need to become more sustainable and predictable? It needs to become more sustainable, and it will. And it will. Because right now we are at this point where we have given out, as I said, 100 million euros in the audiovisual market in Greece, and now we need to see how this money will be more focused to what we want to do in terms of the way we want the market to proceed. So the cash rebate needs to embody all what we've learned in the past years and become better for the next years, because it's a very important tool. But it needs to be improved, and it will be improved.
it is a very healthy attitude, the auto-evaluation and of any fund or organization. So you are So you are in the process of evaluating the results and the way that the cash rebate works. That is great.
And how it will change.
And how it will change. Fantastic. So when we will have some use in the near future, I would guess.
Very soon.
Okay, great. Julizan, so I'm sorry, I did not let you develop this sufficiently earlier. That's why Julizan has a question.
Yes, hello, and thank you for speaking in English, by the way, because I'm one of the rare who couldn't follow in Greek. While you're going to have this reflection, I wanted to ask a question, because for me this is a strategic question, is the right balance between what we call cultural funding, let's say funding that is for the local producers, selective funding, and the incentives, the cash rebate or the tax incentives. In all countries, they are reflecting about the right balance. And I heard that you are distributing 100 million in a year.
We already have.
You already have.
In the past 4 years until
past
today.
4 years. So maybe it's not
paid.
that big discrepancy, but I was...
30 per year. 30 per year, but it's in the last years.
And I think you said also that it was benefiting for 2/3 the foreign productions. Yeah. So most of the projects actually are not benefiting co-producing with the Greek producers, sharing the rights. I mean, it's servicing mostly.
It's also co-production.
Also co-production with sharing of rights, but a minority. So I was...
Or majority. It's or majority when it comes to a Greek film.
Yeah, but we heard 2/3 was foreign productions. So it's not... The majority is foreign IP, I guess.
It's because we don't have money to produce
yeah,
Greek
that's my
films.
point. That's my point precisely. So my point is to find, I have no magical solution, but to find the right balance, because in several European countries, they realize that putting too much money on the tax incentive, cash rebate, however you name it, can be detrimental to the local industry, to the domestic production, to the IP, to the cultural project. This is what we observe. I don't know if it's true, but I just want to mention the fact that the balance is precisely the big debate, because we have the lobbying of the studios, the majors that are saying, oh, just put tax incentives, cash rebate. And by the way, several countries are looking at these incentives and they say, maybe we should have a share of this budget that should be dedicated to the local producers, not to the foreign production. You were mentioning sustainability. This is also something we hear a lot, because it's about shootings that are coming. Sustainability in terms of environmental sustainability. So it's a different, but it's super important as well. So I just wanted to drop these two big questions. How are you going to adjust the cash rebate so that it maybe benefits more the local Greek producers, and how can we make sure that what I call the cultural funding, which is on development, which is where you have the talent development, and this is, I have to confirm, crucial that you have a strong national cultural funding on script and development and on production, and how you are going to strike the right balance in the future.
I leave you answer that, but just to make sure that as producers, what we're asking is not to to take money from the cash rebate and put it in the other basket. We want the same amount for the other basket, because we don't want to lose money on one hand just to put it on the other. We want extra money, okay? Just to make clear. And it's clear, thank you. And tomorrow, if you want to learn more, we have SAPOE talks at 5:15, exactly about, we're talking statistics, numbers, etc. So,
yes, you're completely right. It's always about finding a balance, and what kind of balance do we need? Each country may need a different balance, I don't know. And I agree that we have different tools, and we need to have very strong different tools. But we need to have one strategy. We might have different tools, but we need one strategy, and that's why I think it is very important that the Greek Film Center and the EKOME and whoever else is operating such kind of financial tools to be able to join forces and see what type of balance needs to be done through these different financial tools. Because it's not about taking money from the cash rebate and putting it in the local content or trying to find some balance through the cash rebate. It's about finding the balance through all the financial tools that exist for the audiovisual sector.
And create a policy that is coherent and effective and combines the best of all the instruments and in a balanced way. That would be the ideal, right? I'm sorry.
I agree absolutely with Leonidas. We need a common strategy. We need a common goal. And at the same time, we need to see how we can create money in Greece to don't take all the money from the national budget, but from the consumers. That means the streamers, the platforms, etc. Because in Greece, we take a very, very small amount of money from all the systems that use our cultural products. We are the only country in Europe that we have so least, it's not exactly taxation in many countries, it's incentive that come from, for example, a public sector or a private sector. So we must find the balance between the money come from the government and the money that come from the people who use our job.
Sorry, I am getting messages that this discussion has to stop. I would like to thank you all. I would like to still have one word of like actionable conclusions, if it is possible. So I would have one conclusion is that we need more dialogue and more let's say, coordinated strategies.
Eleni, we need more money. I mean,
okay, well, as we don't have money, can we talk? I was getting to that, Fenia, please. So, I mean, a constructive dialogue between the different players, whether they are broadcasters and streamers, as you were saying earlier, and then we need the policy tools to work together in a way that is complementary, and obviously higher budgets. Okay, thank you. Thank you.